Can you hear me? Well, that's the wrong one. There we go. Let me make sure I'm coming through loud and clear. Is this working? Can you hear me? I like how the stream just catches up and I can hear myself. It always throws me for a loop. There we go. Light on. Make sure I'm coming through loud. So, how was your week? Was I? Yeah, I was here last Tuesday. Can you hear me? Mike sounds muffled. I like how the stream just catches up and I can hear myself. It always. Let me. There we go. All right. We'll close some stuff down. Can you guys hear me all right? Yes. Type 1 for yes. Type 2 for I don't know. Type 3 if you just want to type 3. I don't know where we got that from. Travis just did it one day and it's stuck. The echo should be gone. Yeah, I had the stream on so I could make sure it was like going through the internet stuffs. And then I turned it off. So there should be no echo, but it takes a few minutes to catch up. Like the camera's trying to catch up, the focus is going all over the place. I see some 3s, I see a 9, we did good. Oh, well thanks Miori, is it Miori? You know, man, I'm sorry, I butcher usernames left and right, I don't know why. I'm surprised I can pronounce my own name half the time, but she just streamed for like 8 hours, so she might be part robot. But the art she was doing was pretty cool. I wish I could do that. I can't paint. I tried, but I can't. I just get angry and break things. So how is everybody? I'm waiting for the chat to catch up with my voice and my ears working. And now I'm throwing things. That's right, Adam. Got Adam's shirt on. Adam Stokes, he's in the chat. Go follow him. He's a dang good illustrator. And if you've noticed the CNN or thumbnails lately, that's all Adam. So boy's got it down. All right. So we're gonna do line art, icon, emblem, logo things, and like mash it up into artwork. Let me open, wait, let me switch to, where's this thing? That one. No, I don't, yeah, well, yeah. Let me do this one first. Did you guys see, okay, so this thing. Okay, so we're gonna make something similar to this. And this is what I mean by like, line art and icons and emblems. It's very much just real, like, what's the best way to put it? Like real graphical. It's a terrible way to put it. It's built to be like one color. So think of like icons or like real simplified things, and we're gonna make like artwork out of a mixture of all this stuff. Okay, so and we're gonna do something kind of similar like this. You saw I got the old Pontiac Strange mascots up, so we're gonna use him as the focus. And I'm gonna show you how to like play with some tools, we're gonna play with blends, play with some type. We're gonna work with like the arc tool, like the warp, text warps and things like that. And Travis was using a bunch of it last week, but I thought I'd continue with it this week, and we kind of do something more like this. So if you want to follow along, I'll show you the first step that I did. And where'd my chat window go? I'll make sure that 6 more hours. Hey, Swami's here. Right on, Swami. Yeah, shout out Adam. Thank you. So I'm using this new little nifty chat program too. So I got to get used to that. I see Travis is lurking. He's probably busy unpacking boxes and trying to find all his stuff. That's why Travis isn't here tonight. He's moving, and he finally gets to unpack all those boxes that you've seen in the background for like 3 or 4 months now. And he gets a real space. So we did this one, or I did this one. Another kind of sample would be something like this. You know, this is real. It's just taking the logo and then building on this right side. This is just kind of it's blown way up, but you can see it. You know, it's this little piece down here, and we're just gonna make little like emblem icon, one color, single color type designs, and turn them into a kind of a big art piece. Kind of like, I figured we'd do it maybe in the same dimensions as like a mobile, like a mobile wallpaper. And then, if you guys want it, I'll set it up on Twitter later. So if you want to follow along, it'd be cool. I don't know if you guys already have any like vector, because we're gonna use kind of like a focal point. So like in this piece, it's the lion, right? I'm gonna do the same thing with the with the mascot here, and you can see how it's kind of, once you build these things, this is kind of where it gets cool. Once you build one of these overall designs, I'm gonna show you another little preview of something interesting if I can find it. You can start like, you can take it all apart and you can form it to be something else, right? You can scale stuff up and down, because this is all done in Illustrator. So all of these parts you can then rearrange into different parts, or different, you know, overall pieces. So let me show you. I'm going to show you how I took the same one and then we rearranged it for the wallpaper version. So the mobile version, which is a much taller layout. All right. So this is the dimensions here are for mobile wallpaper, right? And then there's a bunch of effects added in for just for the screen. Okay. So see how, you know, we just elongated some stuff. We just laid it out a little bit differently. You know, switched up some of the line work and whatnot. But once you had like the overall piece, you can easily just go ahead and reformat it to fit into a different space. So, and then for even a step further, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of some where did it go? Like this. Okay, so see the one on the right? See how it's laid out differently for a different usage? So it's taking the same parts, right, and we were able to rearrange them to fit elsewhere. So we're gonna make this thing, I guess the term is modular, right? We're gonna make a design that we can then reformat to fit wherever we want, and just have some fun, learn how the tools work a little bit, and make cool stuff. So let me close these out, and I'm gonna show you. Music is a bit too loud. Turn that way down. All right, is that any better? Hopefully it's better. You guys there? Yeah, okay. So Blake, that's a good question. I was trying to figure out what to call it, and I don't even know what to call it. That's why I called it Emblem, Logo, Icon, Art Stuff. But it's more, I don't know, it's that real just minimal, and by minimal I guess I mean by just simplified. All the little pieces are simplified down a little bit, and it's built for just having the samples I showed you had like a gradient running from the vertically, but they're designed to be just a single color. So if I wanted to print the whole thing, you know, my favorite color, which is magenta, you know, on a dark background or something, you could, and it would all work. Or you could flip it and do a darker version on, you know, on light background. So let's get back to this camera. I'm gonna show you, this is what we're kind of basing it off of. So I drew a bunch of stuff in the sketchbook, right? And it's very raw, very rough. It's not refined at all. Wherever we are. And I took a photo of it, put in some notes and things that I wanted to try to do, and we're gonna vector a bunch of this stuff and then see if we can add some text and type and do some sort of cool layout. So does that sound all right? I figured we kind of maybe sprinkle a whole, this allows us to kind of hit a whole bunch of stuff. So we can hit, you know, text effects, we can hit blend tool, we can draw random things. I wanted to show you if you're making a monogram, like there's a kind of a, if I remember how to do it, there's kind of a shortcut to make some cool overlapping monogram type shapes. And then, yeah, that was the thing. Just the fact that I have Illustrator open. We're getting there. Pontiac Strange is my little side project hobby thing. So, yeah. All right. Who's getting food? Email me something. Okay. No, it's my little thing. It's inspired by late 80s, early 90s skateboard graphics and that whole period, and then some of the goofy stuff my kids say, and me. It's kind of a mashup of all that stuff. And I need to hear some music. Is the music on? Maybe it's just a low part. All right. Tutorial on how to turn on a computer. I don't know. Somebody turned it on, and it's just been on since then. I'm afraid to shut it off, so I'll forget. All right, let's open up a new file. And, you know, before I get into this, what we should do is I'm going to double check measurements on just a wallpaper size, because I want to get somewhere near that. So look at properties on one of these, and it's that one's 600 by 1067. I think we want to go bigger than that. That was just a smaller one. So properties, details, 1392 by 744. I think that was like a parallax one, which means that as you can like swipe on your screen, the background moves slightly. I think. I don't remember. So let's do, then we'll just start in more of a portrait mode, right? I'm just going to do 800 by 1280 because we can always scale this thing up and down. So if you're following along, that's what we're going to work against. And then, and also it'll lend itself well if we wanted to go like print this thing like a regular, like standard poster size, like 11 by 17 or something like that. So one thing that I like to turn on right away is my rulers, and the shortcut on PC is Control R. That's how you can turn those puppies on right away. And yeah, it makes life so much easier. Let's see. What was the italicizing tool called? I really need it and I can't remember. We're using the skew tool. You mean to make something appear italic? Like skewed? We'll look at that too. Okay, music is on. So let's see here. All right, I've also got Twitter open. So screen is still webcam only. I appreciate that. Where is my thing? See, you guys thank you for telling me that. If not, it gets, you know, it's what it is. See, I gotta get used to this. I'm using new stuff. Skew, yep. Is it SKEW? I don't remember. Okay. You know what? I never made a scene for that. So we're going to have to do this one. There it is. Okay. We've got there. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to use, well, first let's save it out. So again, to bring up rulers is Control R on a PC. What is it on Mac, guys? Is it Command R? Is it Command? So Control R, and then you can always just right click on the rulers once they're open and set your set it where you want. So for this one, I'm just going to leave it on pixels. can scale it any way you want, so we're just going to leave it for there. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I'm going to save this as I had Emblem Mashup. Emblem Mashup. You can hear me smashing my keyboard is what it sounds like. Hit OK. Alright, and we're going to start with, I want to design all this stuff against kind of a darker background. So I'm going to start with this guy, and it's going to be a single color, right? So let's go ahead and paste him in, and then we're just going to work on one layer. Somebody doing client work. Alright, so here's another thing I like to set up. So you'll see on the right hand side I've got the Pathfinder tool open, which is like constantly open on my setup. Next to it is the Align tab. Usually it should load there by default if you have this thing open. If not, it's under Window and then go to Align. I always set this to Align to Artboard, which is the last option on here. If you don't see these options, it might be under, let's double check if they hide options. Yes, okay, so this little kind of sort of more hamburger menu, use that and go to show options, and you should see Align to, and I always go to Artboard. Now there's times when you're going to want to use selection, but for me, I don't know, I like being able to center stuff up on the artboard just so I know where it's going to go. So let's see, we'll make him, I want to make the width of everything hopefully as wide as he is, but I'm looking at it now and I'm realizing it may not work. So let's start with this, and I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer and make sure I don't have that covered. It's underneath the overlay, so let's push all this up. And I'm going to drag that layer below, and we're just going to use that layer to have our darker background on it. I'm just going to use a black for now and just draw out a rectangle. Ooh, getting fancy. Okay, I'm going to lock that, and this allows us just to work against it. You know, you can always work over here in the gray too if you have that set up. You bought me donuts. We're going to try to draw a couple donuts tonight. So yeah, and then I'm going to go ahead and make this dude just white for now. That way we have the full contrast of color here, what we're going to be looking at. And let me switch back to, let me show you the other thing you want to do is, where is it? This one. Okay, so I did kind of just a little tiny thumbnail of a basic layout of how I'm kind of imagining this guy, right? So he was kind of in the middle, and then we got, you know, I got some words, some logos, some stuff, and then there's some stuff up above him in the negative space up top. So like this thing's not even a couple inches tall. It's just a really quick thumbnail. You might want to do that to get in the habit of like where things are going to go. I do that a lot for web pages. I do that a lot for just artwork. Because sometimes it's daunting just to open up a blank canvas or blank artboard and try to figure it out. Sometimes it's easier to either sketch it on a notepad, or if you have a tablet, to sketch it in Photoshop real quick, and just get a basic, just block in ideas. And this is kind of like, thumbnails is the same thing as like wireframes, right? When we talk about wireframing for websites, same thing. It's just kind of like a miniature map or blueprint of where you're going to go with stuff. And so if you get lost and things like start looking weird and off, you can look down at your sketchbook and then you know where you're gonna go. So I'm gonna keep mine off to the side, and for this thing I was very much inspired by kind of retro-ish type stuff. So we're gonna try to make stuff. Oh, the other thing that I am inspired by for this type of stuff is if you guys have ever played Destiny, or look at like the Destiny UI, they have some really cool artwork as far as like geometric, single color, minimal type stuff. So it's kind of a mishmash of that type of stuff. So the reason why I forgot what I was going to say. All right, so for this guy, I wanted to do some sort of like resolution lines almost, but we're going to kind of break them up, and it may not work right, but we'll just kind of see. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this dude and drag him off screen. And again, that one, make sure I'm on the right thing. All right, so Blake, of course, yeah. Yeah, I got the same monster on the door behind me. If I move my head the other way, he's back there. Yeah, paste them up in the chat. I can permit you, or Swami can permit you, or you can send them through Twitter, which is just at Evan Eckerd. Creative Grenade, I'm probably not going to see it tonight. There we go, Swami, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this dude, Control C, and then Control F to paste in front, and I'm just going to move him off because in case I really just like mess him all up, I want to make sure I have a fresh copy. The other thing that I'm not 100% certain on, no, you know what? I think we're going to leave, I was thinking about getting rid of the outline, but I think I'm going to leave it because it might make an interesting thing later on. So I want to do like half of him might be solid, and the other half, well, first off, I'm always doing this. The layout I had, he was almost split in half. See that? So what I want to do is I'm going to draw out a rectangle, and we're going to trim him. So I'm used to using trim for this in the Pathfinder tool. So if you go into the Pathfinder tab, you could use Shape Builder, I guess, but I'm still kind of rickety at it. So I don't know. Well, we could try it. You want to try it? Okay, so we've got both things selected. Technically, I should be able to hit Control M, and then I should just be able to hold Alt and get rid of this stuff, right? But I'm going to end up with that stuff. So we're going to use trim for now. So if I do the same thing, I go to Pathfinder and I select trim, it'll just get rid of it, right? Oh yeah, Blake, those guys are really, I tried to order something from them, but it all comes from like Indonesia, so it was gonna be like $90 to ship it. Okay, before I do that though, let me show you this step. So we selected both items, and you can come up to the Pathfinder again, we're gonna hit trim, okay? So what this does automatically is group everything. So, which is actually a good thing because our original element here was already grouped, right? So what you can do is just simply click into it, and you'll see your layer palette turn into isolation mode, and you're within a group, and then you can actually see all the pieces of that group. So that way we can then go around and just click on single objects if we want. So I'm going to delete that. We don't need that anymore. Also, there's going to be these empty shapes with it. When you're in Pathfinder, you run into creating it's making shapes out of everything. So, but it's keeping whatever, for the most part, whatever like fill or style it had, right? So a quick way to get rid of these empty shapes is I can just select one, and if I turn on outlines by pressing Control Y, you'll see that all of a sudden there's empty shapes. You can see it most, that there's a cut or another line here. So what you can do is just select one, and then just go to select, where is it, same, and then you want to go to fill and stroke. And then that just selected all of the empty shapes. I can just simply hit delete. And then when I double click back out of there, we're left with just just our filled object. So are you guys, who here is gonna like follow along? Is anybody like sketching stuff? Because if you are, I want to see it. So yeah. Because that way you guys get to like just dive in and learn firsthand. If you don't have Illustrator, there's a free trial, so you can download it and you can follow along and play with it. And get used to the stuff. If you're used to Photoshop and you get into Illustrator, it can be kind of a switch at first, but once you start getting the hang of it, it's like it's so much fun. I was the same way. I spent years and years in Photoshop and didn't touch Illustrator for quite some time. And then when I first tried to learn it, I was like, "What is this? I don't understand. It's making my head hurt." But then light bulbs started going on, and I started seeing why it was awesome. And then it was all downhill from there. Now I use a mixture of both all the time. Like if I'm doing icons for websites, I'll do it in Illustrator, then I'll pull it into Photoshop for the mock-ups or something. So you start, once you see both sides of how it works, it starts your work efficiency is quicker. All right, Zerks. Let me see if I remember. Can I do it in here? Let's see. I want to see if this. You're gonna get double permitted if it works. Yeah, it does work. Okay, I'm using a chat client and not the browser, so I'm trying to get used to it. Okay, so looking back at my thumbnail thing here, I had kind of like half of this guy was going to be like res lines of sorts. So I'm going to select half of them, and this time I want to get, I don't want to go right in that highlight of his pupil though. So let me go to outline so I can see, you know, where this is going to line up here. Okay. And then for here, I'm going to go divide. Now I'm going to get rid of the stuff I don't want. And then I should have, let's see, it did make some empty shapes again, so select, same, fill and stroke, delete. Okay, so I should have a bottom half and a top half. Okay, I'm going to double click in here. I'm going to select the bottom half. I'm going to cut, Control X, and then I'm going to paste in front. Okay, so we should have two pieces here. All right. Yep, we have two pieces. So we're going to end up merging everything together again once we get to that point. But I wanted to like do kind of an effect across his whole face. And it's going to kind of, hopefully the thought is it's going to kind of appear to be shadowed going up type thing. Oh yeah, Jason, post it up. Let me see what Xerxes got. Open URL. Oh yeah, see, that's exactly what the style we're shooting for tonight is, this type of stuff. So it's outline, you know, stroke, things like that. Yeah, I'd say it's sort of similar. What is this for? Soinks? Am I pronouncing that right? Flame-like shape, flame-like, and generic facial expressions. I can't speak tonight. I can never speak. I love it. So back to this one though. This is very much the style we're shooting for. All right. So it's outlines and very high contrast and that type of stuff. All right. So let's figure out how I want to do these lines. Now we're going to use the blend tool for this part. We're going to see how it looks. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find a new color, probably just red for now, so I can see these line shapes. And if you take your line tool, called the line segment tool, we're going to draw a 45-degree angle, something like that. Like that, okay? And then this will kind of be trial and error. We're just going to kind of see how it works out. I'm going to bump it up to, now I'm going to leave it thin, all right? So that's 1 pixel wide. And we want to make sure that this line is taller than than our shapes here. Ooh, and that might be cool. I gotta think about that. I might want to leave his teeth to be just so. Yeah, okay. So we have this line tool selected, or not the line tool, we have our line selected. Control C, Control F, paste a new copy, and we're just going to kind of drag it to the other side. All right. So we got two 45-degree angle lines on either side of our focal point, whatever focal point you want to use. And if you guys, again, if you guys follow along, you can do @EvanEckert on Twitter, so I can see what you guys are working on. So now we want to do, and I just rotated that by accident, we're going to use the blend tool. We can go ahead and select both, and then you're going to go to Object, and then there's this option called Blend, and we're going to do Blend Options. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically replicate these lines to go across from one to another, and in a certain amount of steps. So we're going to space this by specified steps, and then in here you can punch in whatever number you want. This is we're going to kind of just guess as we go. All right, so let's start with, I don't know, let's say 40. Let's see what 40 looks like. All right, so I'm going to hit OK, and then you can go to Object, Blend, and then Make. All right, so we got some lines. It's still, it may be spaced out a little too much. So I think we can just go to Object, Blend, Blend Options, and then I can preview it. And then I think we can just bump it up. So there's 80. So 80 looks better. I think I like 80. This is just for fun, classic. Yeah, so this is just my own little character here that he's always the guinea pig when I'm streaming by myself, because I like to, this is the times I finally get to sit around and make stuff with him. So yeah, so we use the blend tool, and we've still got our preview open. Let's bump it up to 100 just to see what it looks like. 100 might be nice. So I'm going to hit OK. And we're going to keep this for now. I'm going to go to Object, and then I think I can just go to Expand like that. Okay, so we have our, you know, we very easily made this step line pattern, right? And so we're going to use it to cut away sections in the bottom half of the character view. So one thing I do have to do though is I have to go to Object Path, and we want to outline this stroke because we want it to be a full shape rather than just an outline. So then what we can do is we can select, it should be, another thing is it should be grouped, like auto-magically grouped. And if you don't have it already, you want to make sure and double check that it's sent to the front of the document, or at least the very front of our character here, our focal point. So I'm going to do, that was Object, Arrange, and then Bring to Front, just to bring the whole thing forward, because the way we're going to, usually, it's just a good habit to get into when you're using like Pathfinder or whatnot, because you want to, when you want to remove stuff, sometimes it's easier just to have it on top, and then you can see what you're going to get rid of. So we're going to use, I think I can use Trim again, like so. And then I should be able to double click into the new group, right? And it was important that we made these lines red. All right, Jason, have a good one. And I see Terry's here. Everybody say hi, Terry. So the reason why we left this a different color, not only so we could see it, but so easily we could select it. So we go to Select, Same, Fill and Stroke, and then we can just get rid of it, right? Okay, and there are some empty shapes again. So see, if I hit Control Y, you'll see we created some interesting empty shapes in there. So I'm going to select one, Control Y again to get out of outlines, and then we're going to go to, again, Object, or no, Select, Same, Fill and Stroke, and just hit Delete. Okay, so we do have this effect on the bottom of them now. You may or not like it, may or may not like it. We'll see as we go. If not, we'll just go back to this guy. But you know, it gives us a cool effect. So I'm gonna leave him for now, and I'm gonna actually unite all of the shape, and we're just gonna use that. You know what though? I'm gonna step back, because now that I'm looking at it, I think I want to leave his eyeballs out. So I'm going to ungroup. That might look cool. So we just hit the outline and what would be his fur, I guess. So I'm going to group that. So we'll paste it back in, and let me double check that the path has been outlined. Okay, so we'll go through this again. What I hit trim, double click, select same, fill and stroke. Look for one of the empty ones, select same, fill and stroke. There we go. That's kind of cool. We left his eyeballs are solid color. All right, so another little thing I had, and we can kind of reference kind of stuff like this, is we had, you know, I just had drawn out just a line to kind of cut this all off and start building shape. So while I'm getting going here, do any of you guys have any questions or anything that's on your mind regarding design or whatever? Because that's another thing that we're here for. Hopefully I can, you know, if you're looking for any type of advice or ideas or whatever, feel free to shout them in the chat, and we'll answer as we go. All right, so that's united, and then just see what it looks like. Ooh, that's pretty cool. All right, so another thing I gotta do is I gotta pull in those sketches, because we're gonna be just essentially tracing our sketches from earlier. So let me pull that in. And you know what? Let's open it in Photoshop first so I can clean it up a little bit. Oh man. We're opening the Photoshops. So let me drag this in. Also, I think it's upside down, so I'm going to save it back out. All right. So it's a very poorly shot photo. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to clean this up. Image rotation 180, image adjust, levels, and so we can see our lines a little better. Okay, now I can just take a selection from here, my whole notebook, Control C, and we're going to paste it right into here, and I think it's going to be rather large, so we're going to paste it in. There we go. We have our notebook to work off of it. I'm going to go ahead and kind of size it to where I think I might just keep, you know, if I size this down to where as I draw stuff, it may not even have to change, you know, I may not have to scale it. So we can kind of skip a step. And we're going to trade places and move him over here. There we go. I can lock that layer again. And actually, before I lock it though, let's knock the transparency down. We don't need it full transparency. That'll let us see what we're doing a little bit better. Show how to do the lines. Yes, let me show you real quick. Plugs is asking, like, when you are going about practicing designs, what's a good way of getting ideas? So ideas can potentially be found anywhere and everywhere. All right, later, Kel. For me, like, sitting down and just sketching through a notebook seems to work best, because that's where a lot of ideas will just finally, you know, be put down on paper. And there's a lot of times I'm kicking myself that I keep thinking, oh, I need to write that down. I don't, and then I come back and try to remember what it was, and I don't remember. So I'm thumbing through my notebook right now, yeah, Sketchbook is like it's in my opinion, it's the way to go. Because once you start sketching ideas and think of things in different, like, I guess, I don't know if perspectives is the right word, but you know, Travis and I talked about this with the logo thing. That was like what? That was a few weeks back, right? Hopefully, I think that bot is still up on the channel, up on the Adobe channel. But we had a chat about how, you know, when you're starting to do logo designs, and it applies to stuff like this as well. Like the example we had come across was like coffee companies, right? Like a coffee shop. And there's all these logos that are things based like literally off coffee things, like you know, the stain a coffee mug makes on a napkin, or what the shape of the bean looks like, or you know, a mug. You know, there's your objects like that say coffee, and then you got to kind of force yourself to, like, okay, once you get that out and say you've sketched that down on paper or whatnot, you've sketched your coffee mugs, you've sketched your coffee beans, you know, step back and think about other parts of that. So like the things like what else could be wrapped around that, or could be pulled from that coffee shop name or something. So, you know, your examples are like Pete's Coffee is like it's still kind of one of the logos is still a mug, but it's also it's a stylized letter P. Look at Starbucks. You know, they got the whole mermaid looking thing. I think that's what it is. You know, look at the other one we looked at was Green Mountain Coffee Company, where their logo is a not right off the bat, at least I didn't see it right off the bat, that it is a coffee bean shape, but it's a coffee bean shape, but it's got a abstract picture of mountains that make the shape, right? So it's Green Mountain, which makes the shape of the bean. You have to, yeah, look at. But then, you know, look at like other parts of the logo and see what else you can pull out of it. Think about other pieces, right? So, you know, when you think of, and not just logos, but when you think of any type of like sketch or drawing you're doing, and then you stop and say, okay, well, I drew all that. Now what else can I draw of it? Maybe try that at a whole different like angle. And then, don't make me laugh, Paul. And then you can, you know, that's when you start getting, the creativity starts to like move. And you start stumbling upon other things that you probably wouldn't have thought of before. And then as you keep them down in a sketchbook, when you move on to something else down the road, and then you remember, oh wait, I had an idea for something similar to that. I still have that sketchbook. Well, you know, let's go back and look at that. Maybe there's something else I can draw from it. So having a sketchbook is like, you know, as far as like spawning more creativity, it works really well. So that's one piece of advice. Best design course to take for logo design? Man, I don't know, to be honest, Blake. I mean, you know, you want to look for things like branding and marketing. I couldn't be specific about an actual course, but I'll keep an eye out for you. Adam, you're better than me, you dork. Summit, yeah, thank you, Summit. We barely have scratched the surface, so we're gonna see how far we get into it. I feel like I missed one other question though. Oh, Zerx wants to see how to do the lines. So the lines. All right. So it was the blend tool, right? So the quick method is to take a line, and I'm looking at this now, and I'm starting to think maybe I don't want to do it this way, like as far as the piece, but we'll come back to it. So you want to take your line segment tool and just draw two lines. And I'm holding shift and I'm dragging out a 45-degree angle. See how it sticks? If you hold shift, it'll stick to 45 or 90. All right. You want to select that line, Control C to copy, Control F to paste in front. And I'm holding down shift and pressing the arrow key, and I'm just moving it over. Okay. So then you want to select both, right? And we're going to go to Object, Blend, and then I could just go directly into Make, I guess. But the old way you had to do it was you had to get into Blend options first. So we have specified steps set for the spacing, and that's where you can adjust how many steps you want it to go. So if I hit OK, and then there's a shortcut for it, but I don't remember what it is. You come back to Blend and go to Make. I guess it's Alt Control B, and then boom, it draws your lines out. Cool thing with this is you can actually, like, if you just want to manually move stuff around, you could grab that other line and just select just that other line and move it around, right? So you could do stuff like that. You can even just move one point and watch things really start to blend. The blend tool is extremely powerful, and watch out if you blend like crazy amounts of stuff. It requires a lot of PC resources. So I've had stuff in the past where you blend it, and you just hit Make Blend and you step away for a few minutes because it's going to take it a while to think it through and figure it all out. So yeah, so we didn't even modify like the lines if you wanted. You could do something like this, and you can get pretty abstract. You can do curves, right? So if you want to do like maybe like the kind of spirographic type stuff, say we do like a couple Bezier lines. Let me shrink this down. All right, so we got a couple wave shapes. Let's see what it does here. Object, Blend, Make. It'll do stuff like that. So it can get, you can imagine if you have some really complex shapes and you try to blend them all, it's gonna like bog down and just really take a while to figure out. But yeah, you can do some really cool stuff. So like I use the blend tool a lot. Like say if you're trying to get the effect on currency, on money, the spirographic stuff, this is a good way to do that. There's a bunch of methods, but this way's fun. Well, they're all fun, but I don't really like this one. So that's how you do the blend tool. All right, so we have a bunch of our sketches here. I wanted to start with, actually, these are extremely raw, but I wanted to play around with the P and the S here. I was looking at some older stuff, and I remember there was an interesting looking S on the old VHS logo, so I wanted to snag that one. And then the old Betamax tape had a B like this, but I'm going to turn it into a P. My Facebook, I don't really use Facebook all that often, to be honest. So yeah, you could use white for the lines instead of red. The reason we used a different color was because after we knocked the lines out of our character here, it was much easier to select just the red lines rather than getting them all mixed together. I don't prefer one over the other, actually. I prefer Photoshop when I'm working on web mockups. I prefer Illustrator when I'm working on print stuff. But personally, they're both fun. Do you use an art pen of any type, like a Wacom or anything? Yeah, when I'm doing like sketching and stuff, I didn't do this sketch on the Wacom, but when I do drawing or sketching or inking, I do use, I have a Cintiq. If you missed Muir, she used, what'd she say she used? I think she used an Intuos, or Intuos, and which is another Wacom tablet. I've never been able to get used to them though. Like I have to use tablets that have a screen. I can't. I've just never been able to be able to draw and look up at a monitor at the same time. I've tried desperately so many times, and it just does not work. So yeah, I have to use a Cintiq, or it doesn't work for me. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and, there's we're going to build shapes together, but there's actually another way to do this, which might be a tad easier, is just make a line, right? So we just make a line, and this should work. You can make a line and then use the stroke palette to get the shape we're going for. If we cap it with these caps over here, with the round cap, and then I think if we just bump this up, you know, boom, we're done. So that was easier than taking a couple, you know, a couple circles and trying to drag them out and connect them and all that stuff. You could just do that way too. I guess that's easier. So I'm going to go to Object, Path, and I'm going to outline the stroke on this one. And then we have that shape built. So that's one of the cool things about Illustrator, is that it's pretty quick to do some of this stuff. There's a lot of shortcuts for things. And yeah, once you get the hang of it, and I'm constantly like finding new things and forgetting how to do things quicker. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do stuff. So I'm gonna use the pen tool now, and we're just gonna make our shapes here. You'll see I've also got this pink line is showing up. That's because, is that because I have smart guides on? Yes. So I have smart guides on. Sometimes you want to toggle these off because they do snap to things. But if you have them on, it pulls up this cool little these cool little guidelines that show you where you're at, which comes in super handy. So like that, that's going to be our S. And I don't think I drew this in a way where we're going to be able to easily flip this, but we'll get close. So another thing is, because I'm going to, these two shapes, I'm just going to duplicate them and flip them to be the bottom, and then kind of manipulate them to fix them. I want to make sure that most of what I want to do to these two shapes is already done. Another cool little thing that Illustrator has, and I don't know when they put it in, it's been fairly recent, I think, is this rounded corners thing. So if you drew a shape like this, and you select it with the, I think it's this, what's this, the direct selection tool. So if I select just this one point, you got this corners dialog thing. And you can just kind of bump it up or down, and it'll round that one corner. So I'm gonna go ahead and round it to say, let's do 2 pixels, right? And then just that one corner is round, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little shortcut now. You used to have to be able to like draw that stuff and Pathfinder it and all that stuff. What's up, Niku? I'm sorry, I butcher usernames. I think that's right. So I'm going to take these two shapes, Control C, Control F, and then somebody showed me the shortcut for reflect, which is the letter O. And if you hold that, wait, we don't want to reflect it. We want to rotate it. So I'm going to go transform 180. There we go. I'm skipping ahead too far. And then let's just kind of drag this down here, and we've got the bottom. And you can see it's not lined up, like the width is off. Because I think what I want to do is we're going to scrap this, and we're going to draw this out at a 45-degree angle. So we don't have to worry about that nonsense. Alright, so 45, we'll go back to rounded caps, and I think I had like around 21. I think it was 21. Alright, so we can drag this one back down. And again, if you hold shift while dragging a point, it still stays glued to that angle. So by holding shift, I can keep it at, or yeah, it starts to snap and I can keep it at an angle. Should be. Maybe not. I could just be imagining things, but you know, hey, it's me. So object, path, outline stroke. I'm a wealth of useless information. All right, so let's do this part again. We're going to take the pen tool now. And again, I'm holding shift so I can get straight lines. All right, and then since we have smart guides on, we can see our shape and kind of snap to things, and then we'll do this one corner, and I think we had it at 2. All right, I'm going to select these again, Control C, Control F, rotate them 180 degrees, and theoretically this should be better, and it's still not. Because, no, okay, now that one lined up. All right, So there we go. I think what we need is I need this top one to be longer. I'm talking too much and not paying attention to the width. So I'm just going to grab these 2 points and drag them out to about there. That. And we'll do it all over again. That one should be better. All right. So one thing I could do now is I could just select the whole thing, go to Pathfinder, and use Unite again to make this one whole shape. There we go. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this thing solid or if we're going to keep it as outlines. We'll have to see how it goes. But if we start moving into outlines, one thing, and let me bring up, thanks, Niku, or is it Niku? Is it Niku? I can't, it's a little janky, but I'm trying to follow along. That's all right, Blake. Let me see. Open URL. Ah, yep, there you go. Yeah, you're playing around with it, playing with lines and stuff and outlines and things. Looks good, dude. Let me check Twitter real quick, see if anybody's posted nothing. No love? Where's the stuff? Alright, so if we're going to switch to outlines, one thing we might want to start thinking about is our overall stroke width. Now this I have set to 3 pixels, and 3 pixels might be what we want to keep. So let me show you an example. All right, so if we go back to this, okay, this whole shape has the same stroke width. Okay, we're going to try to keep to a rule like that for something like this. Let me show, or at least if we change widths, sometimes it comes in handy to keep in mind what you want to set it at. Oh no, it was on the desktop. One sec. Where'd it go? Okay. So see how all of these kind of icon shapes have the same width. You know, this one has a different width. This one I think this was like 3 pixels when it started out in 1, and then see the controller cursor or the controller D-pad is also 1 to match this. The overall is 3. This one was blocks, but it's the same width as 3 as the 3 pixels here. And same with this one. This is 3 and then 1 on the inside, right? So and then when you move down into here, these should all be. You want to try to keep a consistent line weight so you don't get. I don't know. It's just the style we're gonna go for in this. So I think I'm gonna keep around 3 pixels. This whole thing, and the more I look at this guy, you know, let's take our backup. We might want to come back and use the solid one. So I'm gonna have another one ready. There's more I wanted to show the blend thing. So we have a backup just in case. All right, let's work on the letter P and see how that's going to pan out for us. I'll go ahead and change this to white. That okay. So the P. Let's see. It had this bend. You know, make sure it's kind of around the same height as the S. Where is it here? Kind of like that. All right, so guess what we could do, these kind of all fold on each other, so Control C, Control F, and we're just going to be drawing lines, right? So let's try doing this first. Now if we want to just do like that, maybe that'll work. That. All right, so I'm going to connect a few of these up. We should have a shape like that. All right, so for the I forget what this part of the P is called. There's a name for it. The bowl, I think it's called the bowl. Let's do something like that. That's looking kind of wonky. So let's go more like this. All right, and then we'll draw another shape, kind of like that. We'll fix our spacing. All right, I'm going to press Control G and shape this. Oh wait, you know what? To have these match a little bit, what if we just did line down the middle? See, this is stuff I didn't have in my sketch, but you know, now that I'm looking at it, maybe that helps. So I group these things and let's drag it onto our space here. I thought I would kind of put this up on his left side. So, but I want to have it aligned to the left somewhere. Kind of like that. So then we're going to have a couple other items underneath it. Yep. Look at the chat. That outline right there actually looks really good. Oh, thank you. So again, we're learning as we go. Let's see. You know what? I had drawn this crown thing. Maybe the crown on top of the PS might look cool. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this down. And the crown, let's draw this crown out. So again, and this time we're only going to draw half because we can easily flip this thing and do the other half, right? The beauty of Illustrator, it makes life easy when it comes to this stuff. And then let's see, let's draw a circle or an ellipse. That, and then we'll just get rid of that point. We have our half circle, so that's going to be kind of the cushion, right? Then we need a connector line. So notice since I have Smart Guides on, it's telling me right where everything starts and stops. So now we have our crown. Look how quick that was drawn out. Control C, Control F. Oh, before I do that, you know, since it's going to be a little bit bigger, let's go ahead and do a couple more little details on it. So we'll do the little, I don't know what the term is for this. What are those things called on a crown? The little top pieces. Is there a name for those? I should probably look that up one day. Let's go a little bit tighter, like that. And then this one we're not gonna, since it's gonna be kind of centered, that we're not gonna have to duplicate again, but the other two, let's see, let's zoom in. It'd be nice to get this one like almost right in between the other two. Maybe like that. So we'll move this guy over a little bit. All right, and the diamond we can do after. All right, so I'm going to select just this much of it. Control C, Control F. This is where you hit the letter O for reflect. So if I hit O, you'll see everything kind of change slightly. Crown jewels, yep, the ball. And now if I hold Shift, I can drag out a mirrored image, right? So that one, I'm going to lock it for now. Control number 2. Now I can't select that because I want to select these points and I'll start joining them. So I'm going to select these 2 points. And I'm going to hit Control Alt J, and that's going to bring up average. So what we're going to do is we've selected these 2 points, and it's going to make sure that each 2 points are right on top of each other. You're eating chocolate pie. Don't tell me these things. Yeah, I guess it could be smaller, but I don't know. We'll get to it. We're going to join both these points together, but we want to make sure that they're in the same place so we don't get a line in between. So if we do average and select both, just to be safe, we've just taken both of those points and we put them right on top of each other. So now if we hit Control J, we've joined them, right? So this should now be 1 point up here. We got to do the same thing to the bottom here. But I've got overlapping Or no, I don't. I don't have overlapping points. So same process. And then since we use these points just to basically give us a guide where to start and stop, they're kind of, we don't need them now. So you can actually go to the pen tool and you can just do the delete anchor points. And we're just going to delete these bottom two. We don't need them. So let's see. If we do size these down, are we going to like it? Good call on that. I think we will keep that. We'll size them down a little bit. There we go. All right, so let's do the little jewel in the middle. And you know what? Let's do this the easy way. Square. Take square. Rectangle tool. Hold shift and drag out a square. Okay. Let's take transform 45 degrees. All right. And we'll drag that down there. All right, so we got a little crown shape. Select the whole thing. Object. Unlock all first. Select the whole thing. Control G to group. Now this is one of those circumstances where the jewel looks a little bulky, so we might want to make that one smaller. Don't know yet though, because we're going to kind of blow it up. So, and once we scale it up, we want to make sure that we keep the line consistency, right? So let's see. This is where it gets extra fun, because you get to like figure out, do I want to make it span the whole width now? It kind of looked cool when I just dragged it over the letter P by itself. It looked kind of interesting. Do we want to do this? Right? Do we want to have like a little icon thing like that? That almost looks too big now. I think I liked it better when it was just the same width as letter P. It was kind of, this is one of those happy accidents. Kind of like that. So cool, we're building our shapes. Not everything may be outlines. We might have some stuff where yeah, Mason, just the P. Where we, some stuff is more filled. I don't know, we'll get there when we get there. All right, what else did we have here? So, I wanted to make kind of like, I want to use some type in here too. Okay, so I had a thing where I wanted it to read where to go, 101% strange. And I did have the E there, I just ran out of space, so it's in there. But if you can see this, I was thinking we would lay it out more of like this. It's hard to tell what that is right now. Or there it is down here, the bottom left. Let's play with some type for a minute and go ahead and see if that'll work. So I'm gonna use my type tool, and I'm kind of jumping around because I want to make sure we hit a lot of different stuff tonight. Usually we get, like, I'll get stuck in one thing figuring it out, and then by the time we get to the end we run out of time for the other stuff. So that was gonna say 101% strange. So I'm gonna start with the word strange first. And let's scale this up slightly. And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of place it down here. It's gonna kind of live down here. Now we get to play with fonts and see what font we want to use. I like using Futura, but I was thinking we need something a little more blocky. I'm trying to remember. There's a font that I like to use. I don't know if it'll work in this instance, but it's called. Nah, you know what? That's a little too embellished. I need something that's simpler, more of just a sans serif blocky font. Let's see what we got. Do we just want to use Den? We need something a little bolder. I could just use, one of my go-to fonts is Prohibition. It's a little boxy. Let's try. I have a font called Gin. Let's try Gin. Maybe that. I kind of like that. All right. So we have some text here. What we're going to do is we're going to make it a little bit. We're going to curve it, arc it, and try to make it kind of 3D-ish. But since it's going to be shrunk down super small, it's got to be Comic Sans. I don't know if I have United Sans. You know what? Do I have United Sans? No, I have United Stencil, which is an awesome font. It was some font I got along the road a long time ago, I think. Let's keep Gin for now. And let's zoom in, and we want to try to keep to our rule of 3 pixels as for the line weight. So let's play with some warp here. So effect, warp, and I think I need arc. I need arc lower, but we're going to invert it. So the bend, you can actually drag it to the left, and it should invert the arc. Okay. So this will help us get that first effect where it's kind of the rounded thing. And I'm still undecided where I'm going to put the 101. I don't know if it's going to go below or if it's going to go left. We'll figure it out when we get there. I'm going to make a shirt. That's my catchphrase. Make a shirt says that. I'll figure it out when I get there. So the other thing we want to manipulate is the vertical warp, I guess is what it would be called. And if we drag this, let's drag it to the right, you get to where it looks like it's set back, right? It's kind of going backwards. Yeah, Fuzzy! So once we got that, I can hit OK, and then we can actually, the shortcut, if I remember, is Control-Shift-O, and that will create outlines out of our type. And then I can just go to Object, Expand Appearance. Can't I do that? All right, and then we have our Strange thing here. Okay, so to get that 3D kind of look, we're gonna make a couple more duplicates of this one. I'm trying to turn my brain back on and remember how to do this, jumping around. We're gonna go to Object, Path. We're going to offset this path. I want to do kind of a stroke around it. Since it's going to be one color, the negative space is going to be the background. Okay, so I'm going to make an outline. I'm going to make a couple outlines. So let's go to offset path and let's preview it. And 10 is pretty big, so let's go to like 4. 4 might be good. We're going to have to do some cleanup on this. But I think it'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK, and then I'm gonna change the color on this so I can see what I'm doing. And then just to be safe, I think I need to ungroup. No, okay. Sometimes it catches, yeah, ungroup. All right. And I just right-clicked and selected ungroup, and I have to be careful because sometimes it'll grab one of these letters. I had to do that before. I don't really know why. Okay, so now that I got all the red selected, go back to Pathfinder tool. And then select on, what's up, wolves? Go to Unite, all right? And that'll unite the background. Then I can go to Object, and then you can go through here, Arrange, send backwards a couple times. Or you can just use your keyboard shortcut, which is Control left bracket. All right, so let's do some cleanup in here, though. We don't need a bunch of these open shapes. So I'm going to use the Delete Anchor Point tool, and we're going to get rid of some of this stuff. The top can just be totally flat. So we can do this, and this also, once you clean up points, the whole thing just looks better too. We don't need this stuff. Let's just do that, and then don't need these pieces. So we could just keep it like this. Now I'm looking at it though, we may want to draw it because we might be able to clean up this edge more. This one I don't mind, it's actually kind of interesting, but Let's just draw it out now. Look at it. I'm gonna go ahead and use the align to artboard though. Do you like sketching skulls and stuff? Of course I do. So let's go to align, and we're gonna align this. Oops, we got to make sure things are grouped. Let me group these letters. Control G. Now we can select both of these, and we're gonna align it. So now what I'm gonna do is let's go ahead and we're gonna draw out. Let's see. Draw out this shape. Like that. And the cool thing about the offset path is that it kind of gave us a roadmap of where to do this. So if I let me drag out a guide to make sure I got this centered. View, guides, unlock guides, and then you can also, once you unlock a guide, you can select it and you can also align it. Okay, so see, this is off. So let's pull this back up. I want to go to back to guides, and I want to lock them. I don't want to move them. And make sure we are center. We can zoom in. I think if memory serves, I can also just grab this point. I could just align just the point there. Okay, so we can do that. Pull this downwards. Okay. Control C, Control F, the letter O to reflect. Hold Shift. And then I'm going to turn off. Drag it over. All right. And then we got to join these again, remember? So direct select tool, just select. You know, you can use direct select tool or you can use this lasso thing. And you just draw around which points you want. So Control Alt J to average, and then Control J to join. Same with the bottom too. Control Alt J to average, Control J to join. And I'm gonna get rid of this top one. Come on, Evan, come to my side and draw the darker stuff. I used to, it's funny, I used to draw like just more, not darker, but like more aggressive type stuff. But I don't know, I got, just over the years, you know, ended up drawing more of like the funnier stuff. Okay, so we're not done with this yet. I'm going to copy, paste, drag down a little bit, and this is how we're going to make our kind of 3D version. Which essentially we're just making a 3D outline on this text. So I'm going to get rid of the red. And then all you need to do is take your pen tool and then join up these points down here, make a shape. There's something out my window. There is a squirrel in the tree out my window. Alright. So we got two shapes. We just join everything together. Let's change everything to the same color and go Pathfinder Unite. And then we're going to change this to stroke. Alright? We should have, let's actually blow it up just a hair. There we go. We have kind of a 3D shape. That. All right, we did that part. At least it wasn't a clown. One other thing that you may want to check, and if anybody can help me out and remember where this is at, but I think it's under preferences. There's something I forgot that, okay, you may want to make sure scale, strokes, and effects is off. Otherwise, what happens is if I scale this, so now since I have this unchecked, if I scale this up or down, the outline retains its 3 pixel width. If I select scale, if I scale the whole thing up, it'll make the width, the stroke width greater, right, thicker. If I scale it down, you know, the stroke becomes thinner. For this type of what we're trying to do, we want to make sure the stroke width is always what we set it at, just for consistency. So you might want to check that off. And now I'm looking at this. We saw the blend tool. Let's see what it looks like with that dude. Yep. Let's try just him for now. I'm gonna go ahead and align some of this stuff up. All right. So I think just for funsies, we're just gonna have we could do, I had 101%, and I'll make sure that it's like that. And I want to use Futura. Futura is a font that came around in, I want to say, was it the 60s? And I forget who made it, but Adam, I love you. I just saw the tweet, bud. Let's see. I forgot where I was going. I was looking up the history of Futura, so I wanted to see when it was created. Because I remember it was Stanley Kubrick's favorite font. Oh, I'm way off. 60s? We're looking like 20s. Okay, so it was designed in the 20s by Paul Renner. Based off Bauhaus design. Yep. Futura is fun. It's funny. I don't like the thinner weights of Futura, but Futura bold and black, or is it bold and heavy? No, it's heavy. Sometimes the weight will be called black, or the weight will be called heavy. So that's not right. Where is it? Extra bold on this one. It's such a cool font. Yeah, designed in the 20s. It says 1927. And it was based off fonts from as early as 1919. Yep. Yeah. Futura. So the thing I don't like about this one though is that the leading, or the letter spacing is like way wide. When it comes to other things, it's fine, like other letters, but for some reason the ones always seem like there's a huge gap. Okay, so for this, let's go back to bold. I feel like I'm missing a weight. Maybe I ruined my font. I feel like that there was a weight between bold and extra bold, and that it was supposed to be heavy, and heavy is not rendering properly, but whatever. Let's go to bold for now. And this one, again, Control, Shift, letter O to outlines. And I'm going to double click in, and let's kind of tighten this up. That. The percent sign, I wanted it to be smaller, like that. So this, I don't know where this is going to live now that I look at it. I mean, we could do an overlap thing here. Maybe it kind of makes sense above if it was smaller. I don't know. Kind of like it over here. All right. So we got those two things. I wanted to put in some more text. Because type is another thing that helps make these designs. So I'm going to draw out a text field, and I was going to do like a fake ingredients deck. So let's go ahead and we're going to keep it on Futura. We're going to turn the size way down, maybe to, I don't know, let's do 20. Let's do less than that. Let's do 13 point. So ingredients. But I want this to be all caps. So paragraph, no, character, this little button, will turn it to caps. That's the other thing. I don't like Futura lowercase. I like just the cap all the time. I'm making this for myself, just for fun. It does look like Laugh Out Loud upside down. I don't think I've eaten Kix in like a couple of decades. I didn't know they even made that stuff anymore. So for my type though, I didn't want bold. That's where I'm going to go back to book. And 13 is still big. Let's go to 11 for now. What do I have? I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote this stuff. I was just thinking of stuff. Gotta have donuts in there. Blue dye. There we go. We have our ingredients. And let's change the, let's give it some breathing room. There we go. Alright, we got our fake ingredients. We will come back and clean that up. We're slowly starting to piece this whole thing together. So I feel like we should have, where's my little thumbnail? I had like the ingredients. You know what? I think I want to duplicate this. And let's just do something like this. So that's where we'll do the blend tool, where we'll use the line. So we're gonna do the same process where we're gonna kind of make this like dashed. Same thing. That two. There we go. Object. Or wait, we should go back down to 3, right? Object, blend. We can go to make. Actually, that might work. So, but I don't think, let's do that again. I don't think the other one was 45 degrees. I felt like I held down the toolbar, or the space key. So remember, object, blend, and then since we already have settings, Nick, I'm just making stuff for fun. Can you make a print with Tom again? Yeah, if the guy has time. So we use the blend tool, and then we can go to blend and then expand again. There we go. And then we got to go to object, path, outline, stroke. All right. So I feel like we might need a copy of this for later. So let's make a copy. And then we just need to select these two, and then again go to Pathfinder tool. And then let's hit trim. And double click. This is why we used a different color than the white. Select, same, fill and stroke, and then delete. And then let's look and see if we have any empty paths. I don't think we do. a quick test is to back out of the group and select it and see see what color comes up. Is that? Let me see if my webcam is blocking that. It is. Okay, so do I have? Don't I have a screen with no cams? Okay, so I turn my camera off real quick. See how now that I've got this selected, it's a single color down here. If you don't have, if there's empty shapes in here, you'll just see a big question mark down here on this first little, the first little fill. So that's just a quick way to kind of like glance over and make sure, did I, did I select any other shapes that I don't need? You know, what happened? So that's a quick thing to look for. So this one? No. Oh, I got too many scenes in here. That one. There we go. We're back. Okay. So, and it's all these like cool little simple shapes that are gonna like make this whole thing, which is fun. All right. So this we need some more width. We want to align this to be the same width as the bar above it. And you know what? Another thing to look for is it's hyphenating. I guess we do want to keep the hyphenating because some of the words hyphenating is pretty long. This is supposed to be a mic, so I'm going to size that down and we're going to bump it up. There you go. All right. So we don't know if the strange is going to stay this big. You know what? Did I group this? I didn't. So let's hit Control G, and we can keep it its own little shape now. And I'm going to go ahead and drag out another guide just so I know where my right-hand side is. There we go. So I'll make sure we're fitting all into there. All right. Another thing I wanted to put in here was I wanted to put like usage, and I was going to use some little, I had a little, this is supposed to be a sun, snowflake, in the rain, and in the mountains, or on land, or wherever. It doesn't really make sense, but hey, that's what we got. All right, let's see, the music stopped playing. Let's turn that back on. All right, so let's take a quick pause. Anybody got stuff they want to show or ask while I'm looking at the chat? Anything? Have you guys seen something similar to this by someone else that you thought was cool lately? We can check out other stuff. Yeah, any questions or anything? And then if not, we'll just keep a move on. And I think, what do I got playing? I've got the 99 Lives playlist playing, which is got some good stuff. Yeah, we want to see a work in progress. If you need a permit, let me know, and we will permit you on up. Can you look at my recent Behance project? Yeah, let's send me the links. Nick, only in permanent magic marker. Permanent highlighter. Okay, let's see if we can, while I'm waiting for those links to come up, let's see how gnarly 3 pixels is going to be over here. So, a sun. Which looks more like a bullseye, but whatever. Let's roll with it. Let's take our line tool, and then Control C, Control F, and then we got to rotate this. I got to do my maths. Is it 120? That doesn't look right. It's because it's already at -90. So then I need to do that. Let's do 120. No, what? Okay. Just trying to see where my line is at. Okay, yeah, 3 is going to be too thick for that. If that is 120 degrees. No, that ain't right. Polar. Oh, let's look at. All right. Let me look at bluffs first. Open URL. Is this the clowns? Polar array. We could. I gotta remember how to do it. That's pretty cool. Is this following along? Are you gonna do turn it into more of an icon, or is this more for fun? He looks very happy. Danny H Studio. All right, it's loading. Let's see, Danny, which one do you want me to look at? Me look at the logo? Oh, that's cool. Oh, nice work. I like that C. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like how this D interlocks kind of thing. That's a nice shape. Let's see. Is this your logo up in the corner? I like that. Very nice. Let's look at the other one. Look at location design. Oh, right on. Is that the big silver bean? That's cool. I like how you stack the year like that. I like that. There you go. The city. Nice work, dude. I dig it. Ah, see, I like that shape. City of waffles. Let's see. Wouldn't it be 60? See, my math is wrong. All right, let me look at fuzzy fossil. Oh, that's cool. Is this a unicorn skull? I like the overall shape and the color you chose. Like how you're fading it back. That's pretty cool. What was the thought process behind this? I'm curious why you decided to sit down and do it. Because it came out pretty cool. I like the shape. That's nice. Huh. Very cool work, guys. Yeah, Fuzzy, you got to give me or wait, who posted this? Yeah, Fuzzy, you got to give me the idea behind it. All right, so do I still have my? Is it 90? I feel like that's wrong. Bear with me. I gotta double check my math. That's how terrible this is. Why am I opening calendar? Because that doesn't look right. Yeah, 120. 120 does not look right. Huh. I'm doing something wrong, but my brain can't compute what it is right now. So what angle is this at? It should be 30. Well, let's just do this. There we go. I don't know why I was having trouble with that all of a sudden. Was hooked on the idea of a unicorn for a logo, wanted to make it darker, wanted a beard. Ah! Oh, that's awesome. Nah, I know what my problem was. I was dividing it into... Nah, that still doesn't work. Why? My brain is not doing this today 30 times. I'm not dividing it enough. All right, so we've got our snowflake. Can we put like a little dot on the end? Will that work? So these, I think, can't I go to align? Can I do align selected? No. So we're just going to count. We gotta go bigger. Okay, so now Control G, C, F, rotate 30, C, F, O, that side. All right. That took way too long to figure out the math of that. We have a snowflake. Let's move these over. Let's do a water drop. Now again, the water drop, I'm gonna make sure I got smart guides on. Yep. So we can see where we want to start and stop. Let's see, for this one, let's see what that looks like. Top looks kind of goofy. Let's redraw that. Let's try just more of a simpler. Let's try that. So same process, copy, paste in front. I'm just double checking everything to line it up. And we're just trying to get shape first, and it's jagged. Let's just go ahead and make this that so we get a better look at it. And it's just kind of back and forth. I want to make sure. That one didn't line up. No, it did. Okay, okay. So if we go like that though, see, we're getting some weird. It looks like it lines up at one point, and then it's not. paste in. And then see if we have a raindrop. Back out. Round. Kind of like that. Adam, do you need a permit? Does y'all spacebar hand ever stop working on Illustrator? Oh, no, that's new. Fuzzy, do you mean outline mode? I'm pressing Control Y. Except I should press it on Illustrator, not on the chat window. So Control Y will bring up outlines like that. Missed a link before Adams. Let me look. Oh, that's cool. I like the shadows and stuff you got going on in here. Rise and grind. Very cool. Is this all, what program? Is this Photoshop? You could turn that into a layer style. If you I don't know if you wanted to, but you could make a seamless pattern and turn that whole thing into a layer style that you can just toggle on and off, which might be cool. But yeah, I like it. Very nice. Where's Adams? Oh, see, this is what Adam's been up to lately. But he's not doing the nanner stuff. Oh, how do I hide the ad? You can't tell I've been looking at swimsuits. My kids are all swimmers. We've been trying to find them new racing suits. That's cool, Adam. Is that for a client, Adam, or is that for just for fun? Let's see. And Blake, we didn't look at you, Blake? I thought we did. Oh no, we've looked at yours before. Yeah, I know your stuff. I forget which one we looked at. Juice box. Yeah, because I remember seeing your logo. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Did you make the logo here? Just out of curiosity? Montserrat. We love us some Montserrat. That's nice. I like the activity screen. That's cool. Nice work, Blake. Ah, I like the how you did kind of like the photo corners. It's reminiscent of photo corners, which is pretty cool, but like a more modern approach. I like that. That's a nice little detail there. Good job, bud. Let's see. Every time Evan sees something, that's my MO. I'm stuck in patterns. Custom name. That is lots of pyro. Now, when you warp the text like this, did you use the warp tools in Photoshop? It's definitely illustrated. The look of it matches the word. That's for sure. Very cool. Nice and vibrant too. I like it. All right. Where am I at here? So let's see. And then I had the mountain thing. Let's draw this mountain real quick before I forget. Mountain. That you've seen this style of, probably seen this style of mountain icons everywhere. It'll work. It'll work. It's quick. Cool G. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab all this stuff and let's go ahead and I need to make sure this stuff's centered up on itself. So I'm just gonna drag it way over and make sure that it's grouped. Okay, so now I should be able to align, and then I'm going to align it vertically to the artboard. It might jump out of screen. All right, now there we go. This one, align vertical. Size it up to match. This one, vertical. Give it some space. And this one, vertical, a little bit bigger. That. We want that kind of like there, and it's supposed to just kind of signify. You know what? We're going to do these thinner. Maybe these become 1 point like that. So we're going to mix. Let's see. Recommended usage. Dun, dun, dun. Book. Let's make this bold, and we want this the same font size. And actually, let's group these together. This one needs to come in. That. Recommended usage in bullseye, cold places, sweaty places, mountains. Does that make sense? Then let's see what. Let's see if we just throw a box around this. See if that looks cool at all, and then we can bump that up to 3. And move to the inside. That might be overkill. I don't know if we need it. Ditch the box for now. We're going to use that elsewhere, I think. So we have this one. Since I'm starting to mix line widths, I need it to be in other places as well. So we'll knock. See what these look like also at 1 pixel. There we go. Okay, so now we have, you know, there's a consistency happening, starting to happen. And it doesn't look out of place yet. It might, we think. We need, I feel like this needs to bump up. I feel like we need a break, like here. 6 looks good. All right. Give it some room. Give it some room. Let's hide the guides and take a step back. You can see we're building columns really. So we're starting to get, you know, things are looking modular. Feel like do something like this. Maybe that's too big. I'm curious what Swami thinks so far. The donut, yes. So we have donut icons. I wanted to do down here is a smaller donut. There is a bigger donut with a bite eaten out of it. This is a twist donut, and these are donut holes. So the donuts are there. Then I thought we would do a goofy, like, kind of mock medical label. So instead of may cause drowsiness, we had this goofy guy, and it may cause strangeness. Okay, so we're kind of keeping, if we look at our thumbnail over here, we're keeping close, you know. It's not like dead on, but we know where we're going. What else should we do? I don't know why I even drew this hard drive thing. Whatever. Let's do. Should we do the little skateboards? Maybe we should do little skateboards. Let's do those next. And see if we can find a place for them. So I'm going to start with a half circle. We'll do, it was from looking at the top. And let's do that circle again. And plus, what's throwing me off is the weight for the nose and the tail has to be a little bit longer. Let's try that. What Timbits? They call them Timbits. I always see like I see Tim Hortons in like movies and stuff. I think that's where I've seen it. Never had the chance to try one out, I don't think. So our wheels. I want them to be kind of in line. So if we go back, we can bump up that. All right. And we get kind of a skateboard going. And that looks more like just a big old dot. So we might have to come back and visit this. Let's go ahead and I'm going to group this stuff and use the alignment tool again. This is just how I work. It's probably not the best method. But there we go. Now I got it everything centered up. So I'm going to ungroup this. Man, these things, this can get addictive, to be honest. Oh. when you start drawing out all these little shapes and whatnot, it's a lot of fun, you know, to simplify things down. And sometimes they don't come out the way you want them, but it's just interesting. So if this was a real skateboard, these wheels are giant. But it's not a real skateboard. We just want it to be look similar to a skateboard. All right. And we have the top. I don't know if you know, but both Travis and I used to skate all the time. I didn't know him when he used to skate, but both of us have spent a lot of years on skateboards. So this will be whole pattern. Oh no, did I hit the wrong? I didn't mean to center it up vertically, I just wanted to center it up horizontally. Leave it like that for now. Alright, Control G. Alright. I don't really know why this makes sense, but it does in my brain somehow to have the skateboards. Jason's back. I don't know what that is, Sora Hitachi, but we can add it to the graphic. Was that a head plus keyboard moment? I have those quite often. More often than I'd like to admit. That was weird. Huh. Okay, well, whatever. It'd help if I grouped this whole thing. There's no real rhyme or reason behind this, but I don't know. I think it looked cool. I think the easiest thing I want to do here is we're going to align the stroke to the outside and scale it down. And then we'll hop into this group and we'll just add anchor points and get rid of the middle for now. If we don't like it, we can always just join those points back up and we'll have our shape back. There we go. Group the whole thing, and I don't know where it's going to live yet, but we got it drawn. We'll find a spot for it. There we go. All right, so we have that drawn. I don't know what this little shape was, but I thought it looked cool. There seems to be a lot of things like that. Let's try drawing this out. Kind of like that. I don't know, it looks like kind of just like another little added on logo, so I thought, I feel like it needs some meaning behind it though, but I don't know what it would be yet. And that's off. You know what I need to do is I need to do how wide is this? And then rotate that. Make another copy in case we mess it all up. This will be a 45. Wait, I've got to do negative 45. I want to go the other way. All right, so let's get these in. Where's my point? Come here. Actually, let me go to outlines. That. There. That last little bit might be overkill. I don't know. Might just be too complicated with that last bit. Now we try it though. Yeah, there's not enough space. See, I'm trying to think when it shrinks down, this might be too much, but we'll put it in. Again, I'm like holding shift, so things just go in certain angles. And let's just go back to that. I don't like how that top is, but whatever. I'm gonna leave it for now. So, let's see if we scale this down too far. I think it's gonna be too complicated. It could be 1 point. Maybe we enclose it in something. Like we do a hexagon. That's probably overboard. I think that's overboard. I think let's just leave it as it is. I'm gonna get rid of that little tail because I think that's too much. And we'll just leave it for that. I don't know what it means. Who cares? Oh, Celtic knot. I don't know if my brain's awake enough for one of those. I love the Spitfire logo. I can't add that in there though. That's someone else's logo. I wrote a lot of those wheels. Alright, let's zoom out and see where we're at. Maybe this belongs up here. somewhere. Maybe it's too similar. I think I need, so another thing we want to start looking at is we have a lot of outline stuff. I wonder if we should look at some more solid shapes. I did want to do a coffee mug though. Let's do the coffee mug. I wanted to do something that looked like octane, like gasoline. We're doing the average and join method again. And let's round this up. Let's round these ones more. Maybe not that far, maybe like that. Let's do that. And then we can where's my corners? Object path, outline stroke, and then we can change this to a stroke. There we go. Now we have a different handle. There we go. Now, as long as the stroke is on the center of the shape, you shouldn't really have any weird overlap things. Like for the most part. These two corners I want to round up slightly. And we had the steam, though that looks terrible. Actually, we could use, let's try this method. If we drag it to a 45, let's see if this works. All right, so now Control C, Control F, and then rotate this 180 degrees. Then we want to line up these points. Turn off Smart Guides for a hot second. Okay. All right, Nick. The 99 of the cup could be cool as like racing style numbers. Not sure if that's what you. Yeah, well, I was going for like what you see at like the gas pump, which racing style makes sense there too. You know, like when you push the button to choose the octane. All right, so this we could try bumping this up, and then we can use a profile. Let's see if that's on the screen. You can click on profile, and maybe we try something like that. Then we go object again, object path, outline stroke, and then we can set this to the stroke. And we'll set that to out and rounded, and we get kind of a steam icon thing. What's up, Swipe? Yeah, now that you say it though, the 98, I think 98 more of like a italicized racing would make more sense. Like even Futura might still work because bold italic, or we have Oh, I have a font called RBNA. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. All right. Group it. And we're starting to build all these little icons, which it does take a while, but it's once you get something you like, it's pretty cool. And then I wanted to write Octane like in but I was wondering, don't I have I wanted to write it in more of a brush font. What do I got? What do we got? You know, script fonts, I've got ones that I can see it in my head, but I can never remember the names to them. I can remember mostly like, you know, sans serif and slab and that type of stuff, but for some reason, when it comes to brush or script fonts, I can't remember the names to anything. Smoothie, no. Wait, what's that look like? Not in caps. I don't think that's the name. No, that's not what we want. We want something. Maybe Southern Air. Spring. No, I thought I had something that was a little more aggressive, but still scripty. Oh, Adam, you gotta get into Illustrator. You would love Illustrator. I could see you making some of this stuff. I would want to see your style, dude. And it's fun. Maybe thirsty. It's like maybe if we take this, I don't know. If we take this and we skew it some more, let's see what that looks like. It's not what is in my head, but it's closer than anything else I can think of right now. The skew tool is over here somewhere. Where is it? Not shape builder. Is it under width tool? No. Shear. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So shear. You might be able to get that out of it. Yeah, a little more. I can see I had something weird going on up here. What happened up here? Oh, look at the points. What happened? They got all strange. There is a way to simplify that. Let me see this. I thought there was a way. Oh, it's curvature tool. Wasn't there? There was a simplify tool. Where is that at? I forget where it's at. It's been a while since I used it. I'll make it shaper. Join. No. Smooth. Let's try smooth. I got to select it first. It's a little better. Yeah, look at that. It feels like, okay, maybe using the profile wasn't the way to go. That's a little better. I don't know if that's gonna fix what we were running into though. One outside. Okay, it did fix that weird gap, but it's still kind of odd looking. We'll have to come back to that. Can I have permission? Yeah. I know how to use it. I just can't stand it. Adam. Let's see if I did it right. Did I do it right? Seamus. Oh. Wolves, are you talking about, isn't it? Wait a minute, am I thinking about this right? Wolf in the City? That's a cool font too. I wonder what happens if you kind of sheared that one. So whoever was asking me about like italics earlier on, it's not skew, it's shear. That does look cool. So let's use that. It's probably way too small to print anything, but I don't know. Oh, you turned him evil. It's Pennywise. Oh, nice. That's funny, dude. I like it. The only thing that's bugging me is that little tiny, like, notch there, where his eyebrow, you know, where the hairline comes down and it makes that one little pixel. You can just fill that sucker in. That's funny. That's cool. Nice work, dude. So, maybe. I don't know where we're gonna. Some of the stuff we may not even use, which is kind of funny. I've got a bunch of stuff for that other drawing that I still hadn't used. Like I had a tooth. Why did I draw a tooth? I don't know. We had this like nucleus thing. That's kind of easy to do in shapes. And rotate that. 30? No. 60? Rotate that. Would that be 120? There you go. Maybe we do something. Maybe we kind of skew this and draw like the little nucleus. And we go group it. And then can't we just... Where's my tool here? Skew. What's reshape do? No, it's not. Like that. I forget where the warp tool is. Travis was using the warp tool last week, and I forgot where it is. Warp tool, there we go. Now, if I want to pinch it though, do I have to? Nah, that's too much. We could use this warp though. Effect, warp, and let's do. If we do arc, but we don't actually give it an arc, and just manipulate the vertical. That work? That gives us kind of a cool shape. There we go. We got starting to line them up. Do the skull! Oh, Zerx, man. Oh, you got your tonsils taken out? Ah, I feel for you, bud. All right, have a good night. Thanks for sticking in for so long, man. I can only imagine tonsils. I was supposed to have them, so I kept getting, what was it? Is it strep throat? Is that the one? I think it was strep throat. I kept getting strep throat, like, it was like over and over and over again. And the doctor said it's because my tonsils were like huge and I hadn't grown into them yet. And so it was really easy for them to get infected. And I went to see the doctor again with my mom. And the doctor said, all right, if he has, it's either strep throat or tonsillitis. I don't remember which one. If he has whatever it is one more time, we're going to have him removed. And guess what? I never had it again. Knock on wood. I should do a mushroom cloud. Let's see, I want to do this in, let's go back to Futura for this book. Need that at 0. Okay. And I have a scientifically proven. I have a font called Ruby. There we go. Did I spell that right? I can't even tell anymore. It's late. We got a half hour to go. There, it's sort of scientifically proven. Getting there. Oh, gotta save. It's flickering. We are going to let's save us some RAM. I'm gonna close out Photoshop because I can feel it. My computer's starting to get tired. There we go. Save us some space. What we could also do is I could close this out and reopen it. Let's do that. Just because I can see my cursor starting to lag, and we will reload Illustrator here in a sec. Nope. Man, I gotta rename these things. I keep getting them mixed up. All right. So well, that's loading up again. All right, Pyro. Let me see what you got. PC is tired. What is this, Pyro? Do you guys see Pyro's link? That looks like danger. What's up, Echo? You like the little monsters behind me? All right. Illustrator has closing down, so I'm going to boot it back up. And just to kind of show you guys again, this is what we're going off of. This is the train wreck of the sketchbook that we're picking and choosing stuff. We're not going to use all of it. I kind of want to do the three-eyed monster logo thing and this little campfire thing. But yeah, we're getting to different stuff, and now I can open it back up. All right. There we go. All right, so we hopefully our RAM is happy. I feel like it needs a barcode or something. These logos down here, the sizing of them is throwing me off. What if this is flipped, just for fun? Nah, it looks weird. But it could be... I don't know, that's kind of interesting. It doesn't mean anything, so if it fits better, hey, it fits better. Like if it was a legit logo and I couldn't do that, then I can't do that. But we are just having fun. So we need one more logo over here, something on the wider side, so that'll fill that a little bit and it'll look like our thingamajig. And then the skateboard stuff will have to go on this side. So what else do we have that might be... Oh, I had this little guy. Okay, so here's a little, just a funny little face thing that we could use. His eyeballs are super close together. Grab him, and we are going to bring him down here. And I'm going to select the eyeballs and I'm going to join them or group them so I can align them, because I want to just go ahead and align it to the canvas. There we go. I don't even know. Just a goofy face thing. Actually, let's do I don't know what he is. We're gonna shrink him way down though, so that's why he's super simple. You know what? I don't even know. Let's see if this even scales. That looks weird. His teeth look funny. We could do, let's draw this out. Or you know what? Let's move him off to the side. This is where actually the little skull thing would come in handier. Because that could be a logo. Kind of a goofy little thing. Where's Adam? Oh yeah, Sticky's up. Sticky's up in like 20 minutes. Let's see. Looks like I missed something. What's it for? Just you asking? This is just for fun, and that's why we're not like super refining anything. We're just kind of. So let's see here. I want to do. I'm just drawing this fast. There we go. These two little points, I want to try to corner them, round them off a little bit. So another thing, we just have to do like the white part because the background becomes the shadows, right? So that kind of comes in handy. And actually, let's try this. Watch this. Object, blend options. We want specified steps. We only want 2 steps. Object, blend, make. Object, blend, expand, trim. Select same, fill and stroke, delete. There we go. What should this be called, Adam? Like what? So we've got, or chat. I feel like it needs like, you know, we need some sort of word over here. Like, Zerks. Yeah, I know Jared. I've known Jared for a couple years now. I think it's been a couple years. Or Sweda. Yeah, he's super talented. He flies through Illustrator with some of that stuff. It's crazy to watch him put up a sketch that he's working on, and then like 2 hours later, the whole thing is completely vector, and there's so many like points and clicks, and I don't know how he does it so quick. So, how can I edit an object from CC? Not following what you mean, Jason. Brain helmet. Fuzzy, I love it. All right, we got it. We need a good font for that. Sculption's pretty funny too. I gotta roll with brain helmet though, and it needs to be like funny. Put a hood and call it Grim. Yeah, look like Grim Reaper. Let's see. I feel like I need a font that's both both bold yet goofy. I've got it. I wonder if this one will work. I have a font called Folk. I think it is. I don't know. Let's see. What is the other one I got? It's got. Trying to think of a good. Yeah, Forbes, that'd be me. Franklin? I could spend hours going through fonts trying to. Freshman's kind of cool. We'll go to outlines and ungroup. Cracks me up, brain helmet. All right, so we got some logos. That's funny. Let's try spacing these out and see if they make sense as far as. I dig it, guys. Let's see. I have a bone font on my Photoshop. Is there any way to delete all the fonts in your Illustrator, the ones that you have installed into Illustrator? Well, I don't recall if there's a way. Illustrator just reads whatever is in the font directory, so I think you have to physically remove them from the font directory. I don't know if it's the same way for Mac. I think that's the way for PC. I think it's still that way. I don't know for sure. But yeah, what's your ratio of paid, free, homemade for fonts? I don't know. A lot of them are paid. Few are homemade. I do have some freebies. I gotta be careful though, because I've got freebies from over the years, and like I have to double check on like the Brain Helmet one, the freshman. I don't recall what the licensing is on it, so you got to keep that stuff in mind for sure. Everything else is purchased. I think I need to go back and check a lot of these things. I know Ruby is, for Futura is, Gen is. I got to check on the Octane thing. So 2 of these fonts I'd have to check on just to stay, you know, stay in the green, or not in the green, but stay, you know, do things right. So just looking at spacing real quick since I've zoomed out. Can I'm really wanting to, you know, maybe this makes sense as a solid. Let's see what it looks like as a solid. All right, so let's take our outlines, and I can go to Object, Path, Outline Stroke, and I'm going to merge it all with Unite, Pathfinder, Unite, and then let's just draw a red box around it. We'll select, I'm going to hit Divide, and then I don't know if this will work, but might be too narrow now. I don't know. What do you guys think? Keep it solid or keep it outlined? I feel like the solid version is, you know, it gives it a little more variety. I could also make the coffee mug solid instead. I don't know. See? They already used the stickers you gave me from the competition. Aww, I'll send you some more. Use them. That's what they're made for. They're sticks places. You guys like the solid? All right, let's just switch that to solid for now. I'm saving all this stuff though, so I keep pulling it off canvas because I don't want to lose it, because it might come in handy later on. All right. Solid goes better with the others. Look at the link over there. Solid balances the weight to the left. Set of icons to the right. All right, Bluff. We'll catch you later. Thanks for stopping by, for sure. What link? What am I looking at, Pyro? What is this? Thanks, Mason. I appreciate it. It's always hard to do these streams and keep things looking like somewhat decent, because we always end up just kind of flying through it, and it's you know, it's tough because Smuggy's crazy. Well, you know, when you're doing design work, you're not talking the whole time, right? And so it's just just getting used to talking and interacting while you're trying to like really focus on stuff. It's interesting. And so part of the time things will come out as planned. But we try, right? All right, so ideally we've only got 10 minutes left, but we would do something here. I mean, we have these skateboard things. I guess I can just kind of drag them over here and see what they look like. Let's go ahead and, do I have you? Yeah. I'm gonna drag out this other guide so I can see this side. But I like where it's headed. I mean, it's coming together. The little logos down here, the makeshift funny logos are cracking me up. I love them. I feel like there's a hole right here. Maybe we can leave it though. I don't know. Once we fill in, stuff over here, maybe it makes sense to leave that as is. So I don't know. Yep, we'll just have to keep going. DM'd you that pic that you wanted to use. Oh, did you send that over? Can I show people? Is it there? Let's see. I wanted to show you guys. Oh, it's huge. Okay, I'll have to download it later. How about the lightning bolt next to the 101? Yeah, that might make sense over there. That solid feather logo, I bet if you rotate it 90 degrees to the right and mirror it, it would look like a cool face. What, kind of like hair? You mean this logo? If you do what? If you rotate it to the right and mirror it. You mean so there's two? It's an interesting shape. Heck, if you did, you could do something like, these are, do something like this. Done. What is that about? That's about 1 pixel. Yeah, so object, path, outline, stroke. Oh wait, object, path, outline, stroke. You do something like that and give it an overlap. What is that? Where did that come from? What is that? What is that? Where's this little artifact coming from? That was weird. Okay, it went away. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting shape. You know what? Let's keep it. Let's drag it off over here. We'll keep it. Who knows? Looks like stuff. Oh, is that? Yeah. So check out this background. There's photo manipulation. That's really cool. I asked PSI Days if he'd send me a high-res one so I could use it as a wallpaper. Zerx, that's the plan. That's the plan. Yep. Again, it's just because it's like after hours fun time stuff, it gets neglected quite often. Love how this turned out. That's the plan though. Same with trying to get dim pattern redone as well. But, you know, life and bills get in the way. Alright, so we have like 4 minutes left. We got kind of far, sorta. Going in between. Thing cracks me up. Can you do some design for One Punch Man? I don't know who that is or what that is. You know what? It has fantastic where that nobody pays attention to the randomly generated images in the iTunes visualizer when you play music. I've never actually looked at that. The iTunes visualizer. Way back when MP3s were first a thing, people were building visualizers that you could like just run on your desktop, which are pretty cool. I think I should do a shirt with your mascot and watch it not sell. I think I should do a shirt with your mascot. What are you talking about, Adam? Good night, Swipe. You know what we got to do, Adam? We got to go bother Winamp. That's it, Wolves. You remember? Where's a good place to get random logos? You got to make them. That's the fun part. You make your own little logos like I did that mean absolutely nothing, but it's fun. Yours would not be awful, Adam. But you know what we got to do is we got to get on Josh's back and have him finish his. How many months has that been? So myself and Adam, we started working on a collab, and we were waiting on. I'm throwing Josh under the bus. He's busy too, though. You know, we've got 2 minutes left. I'm gonna see if I can find it. What did I name it? Oh, Adam, you're gonna have to link it up for us. I don't remember what I even called it. We were doing this cool collab thing, and oh, I have to boot up Photoshop or Photoshop. Oh. Anyhow, yeah, Josh needs to do a piece of it, and he's the last piece, and he's been insanely busy. So before we leave, we got 1 minute. We did get this far. You know, we were shooting for something a little fuller. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it up at some point, and see what it turns into, because I like how it's turning out. Now look at it. Maybe I just center this up, and that's what it needs to do. I don't know, or maybe not. So, you know, it's fun. It's fun making all these little shapes and playing with tools and pen tool and warp tool and tools and tools. It's a blast, and once you start getting into it, I think you know, you're gonna dig it. So again, we're here every Tuesday. I think I'm gonna be out next Tuesday, but it'll be Travis back, and we will see you guys later. All right, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. See you then.